woman around 27 years old named Lee Wyan was giving her idea in front of many employees during the board meeting of her company. Well, this should be our company's future plan. She presented her plan gracefully, which seemed to be accepted and appreciated by most of the members, but one person was against the plan. The man in his late 20s was not only her boss but also her ex-boyfriend, whom she left few months back without any explanation. I don't support this plan, but you call this trash plan of yours good, Miss Lee? Is your brain working or have you sell it to someone? But the way you work, I don't think even anyone wanna buy it. Miss Lee, we expect a lot better from you. We know your potential, so do try harder. We are sure you can make much better presentation than this. Whereas many employees seem to agree with Jim. Wai nodded her head at Jimin's words. So he thought to end the conversation there. I think for today it's enough. We will discuss remaining thing next day. For now, focus on the matters. And do come up with better presentations. I will, sir. He rolled his eyes, showing his visible disinterest. Thank you for your time. You all are dismissed now. Saying this, he got up and left from the room. Jimin too followed him. Then, one by one, all employees went to their respective cabins. Don't you think you are doing too much now? Too much? As in what? You are insulting Wyan too much. Clearly today her presentation was good, but still you insulted her in front of everyone. You are being unprofessional now. He looked away from Jimin and gritted his teeth. She deserves every bit of it. Jimin ran his palms through his face. He then ran his fingers through his hairs while shying. When you wanted to confront her for leaving you suddenly, without telling you anything, I was the one who gave you the idea to buy the company she was working and became her boss to confront her, so that she couldn't ignore you anymore. Even if she wanted resignation after seeing you here, she had to serve notice period, and in that meantime you could have talked to her. This was my plan. You are here in this company for weeks now, and I haven't seen you talking to her about your personal matter. All I had seen was you unnecessarily insulting her works. This is not right. Without a visible scoff. How can I ask her why she left me when all she does is pretend, as if she met me here in this office for the first time? I expected an explanation from her, if not apology. But she, that woman, she behaves as if there was never a relationship between us. So, I have decided it too. I am not going to confront her till she actually behaves that yes, she had known me before I joined this company. I am not saying her to acknowledge me in front of everyone in the office as a person who was immensely in love with her at her some point. A person who wasn't the one to break our relationship. No, I am not saying this. I am just saying she should acknowledge my presence as a person who deserves to know answers of our sudden breakup. When we are outside the office, in parking lot, in lift, in my cabin, when there's no other employees. Till she does this, I am going to treat her just the way I am doing. I am going to press her again and again. You do realize, right, that you are sounding very unreasonable? Then let me be unreasonable. We had years of relationship, years of. She ditched me when I took her to my parents' house. She ditched me at the last moment when every family member was inside waiting to meet her. At first, I felt humiliated. Then I felt maybe something was wrong with her health. I was damn scared, panicking badly, but there wasn't any response from her side. I called her numerous times. Then I decided to call her parents. But guess what? That same time I received a text from her saying why I am calling her. I should leave her alone. And later, during midnight, a simple freaking text saying she can't stay with me, she's breaking up with me. That's it. She blocked me from everyone. So let me be unreasonable. Let me be. Saying this, he looked away from Jimin. Two days later. What is this, Violin? You are again and again presenting me this of files. Even a child can do better presentations than you. The young CEO was scolding his employee who was his ex-girlfriend. Like past few weeks, today too, it wasn't much of a big mistake on her side. But still, he chose to scold her, insult her, because the reason him being angry on her was not all professional. It was personal too. He was angry at her for not coming to him about discussing why she left him suddenly. He expected a closure from her, if not apology. But even after working together for weeks now, she still haven't said a word regarding her sudden departure from him. Why are you still not talking about our relation? Even after pressing you so much, why are you still silent and behaving as if you have met me only few weeks back? As your boss for the first time? Why are you behaving as if I was never your boyfriend? I'm sorry, sir. I will look after this matter again. Freaking how many times you... His words were cut off when he heard a familiar voice calling him while entering his cabin through the open door. Oppa! Expression wasn't something one should have after seeing one's boss's sister. Her face became instantly pale. She gripped on her dress while she felt as if the room was too small to breathe. Janet, you here? Surprise! It's been a while, right? We spent time together, so I thought to make a surprise visit. Now don't tell me you were busy. Taehyung shook his head a little hearing his sister's words. You got lucky, Mongli. I am not that busy today. With a pout forming on her face, Janet came near. Now don't call me that in front of your employee, Oppa. It's not fair. His soft expression changed into cold one when he turned towards Vian. You can, but before he could finish his sentence, he saw her leaving from the room without glancing at him. Everything seemed to happen in a blink of an eye. Did she just leave the room on her own? How dare she disrespect my position like this? How dare she? First, she pretended as if I was never her boyfriend, only her boss. And now she disrespected the very same position she preferred me to stay in her life as. His jaw clenched and fisted his palm as he felt anger was rising in him. A muscle in his jaw visibly clenched. Oppa, what happened? Why are you? Janet, you go home now. I have important things to take care of. Saying this, he left from the cabin, leaving a puzzled Janet there. Coming to her cabin, Vian straight went towards her desk and sat on the chair. She then opened the laptop. She didn't even bother to lock the door. More precisely, she was too disturbed to think about this. While breathing heavily, she opened the laptop. With her clumsily fingers, she started to type in the keyboard. Work. She needed the work done. This was the only way she could cope up. She was so engrossed in her mind that she didn't notice, or more like try to ignore, that her boss was standing beside her while yelling her name. What is this, Vian? How can you leave from my cabin just like that? How dare you disrespect my position? How dare you? He continued to scream at her, not only because she left from his cabin like this, but also because of his bolted up anger against her. He expected some reply from her, he demanded. But she didn't look at him. She did her best to not get his words into her head. With restless eyes, she looked at the laptop screen, which kept showing errors instead of the lines she was typing. You know what, Vian? It had become your habit to leave unannounced. Be it in your personal life or your professional life. You feel you don't owe anyone any explanation, especially me. Always running away. First, you will make people habitual to you, make people dream things, make people imagine a life, then suddenly boom, you are not there anymore. You are the type of people who snatch the ladder after making other climb on the tree. Vine's frustration was growing because the laptop screen kept showing error. She was typing again and again to fix it, but all was going in vain. You know what? I will not go from here without getting answers. I will not go unless you tell me why you behaved like this now. Why you left me months ago without saying anything. Today I need answers to why did you make me dream a life with you when your plan was to leave me in the middle? Why did you say you were now ready to meet my family, but when I took you to my house you left without any words? Why did you humiliate me like that in front of my family? Why did you block my number without any warning? Why did you ghost me after promising me a lifetime togetherness? Why did you make a fool of my love? What was my fault? Is there any fault at all, Vian? Or you had found another man, better than me, richer than me? I need answers, Vian. Tell me. Don't freaking stay silent. Tell me, damn it. He screamed while slapping the desk. Vian couldn't take it anymore. Neither his screaming nor the errors in the laptop. She abruptly stood up from the chair and while shutting the laptop with so much force that she were gonna be broken, she threw the files which was on the desk. He got shocked seeing her sudden aggressive actions. His eyes widened seeing the scene in front of him. He stopped yelling, more precisely, his words were cut off by her screaming. What do you wanna know, huh? What? She screamed at him, which for a moment made him speechless. You wanna know why I left from your cabin? Why I left from your life suddenly? Then listen. Listen if you can. I'm scared of your sister, okay? I'm very scared of your sister. Vian's lips trembled as she. It's been almost 10 years since I met her. 10 long years. But still, I'm scared of her. Her face brings back memories she had implanted in me. Her face brings back the nightmares I'm trying to fight each day. Were filled with caution, whereas hers were with tears. You fear my sister. Came faster hearing her as he dreaded her choice of words. Your sister and her whole group was my biggest. Always mocking me, tearing my dress, snatching my food from the canteen. Didn't give me any seat in the canteen, always giving me the corner seat in the classroom. Throwing ink on my shirts, not letting anyone talk to me in the class, not letting anyone give me class notes, not letting any student do group projects with me. Do you know how mentally traumatizing it was for a mere 16 years old girl who just got transferred to a new school via scholarship, who was for the first time living in a hostel away from her family? Do you know how lonely, how alone she became that time? How much anxiety she developed over such a short period of time? But guess what? That sister of yours and her whole group wasn't satisfied with only this. They started to physically me. They started to lock me in school washroom, throw dog poop on me, my bags and Violin gripped on the table as she felt as if she was experiencing the incidents again while describing them. And at last, they all took the cats too, who used to visit me on my hostel and stay with me. They took each and every cat I used to pet, my only source of comfort. They all took my cat Smile away from me. They tears started to drop from her eyes that time. That was the last nail in the coffin. I became so scared, anxiety, depression, everything crawled inside me so deep that I stopped studying. The girl who liked to read stopped touching her books, stopped calling her parents because she wanted to express so much to them, but each time she tried, she couldn't, as horrible moments were the only thing she could remember. His breath hitched hearing her. That day, my parents visited me because I wasn't replying or picking up their calls for more than a week. Only because they visited me that day, they found me attempting. A loud sob left Vine's mouth as she described this, all memories coming back to her mind which she so desperately tried to erase. where my parents thought my dream of becoming successful would come true after attending this school where I was left with nothing but self loathing, anxiety, and depression. Can you imagine my parents' state when they saw their only beloved daughter like that? They saw their only daughter lifeless, who had numerous dreams stored in her eyes before coming there, completing high school with flying marks, then get into one of the top universities. Then get a high paying job, support our family, donate in some orphanage, donate in animal shelter. So many dreams. That 16-year girl didn't even have desire to leave that time. So far gone had those dreams. Her grip on the table tightened as she felt her knees getting weak. It was so difficult to save me that time, so much difficult. I gave up on everything. Maybe because of my parents' willpower and prayers, I got saved. But my academic life, my mental state, my family's peace, everything got ruined. Every freaking thing. Four crucial years of my life, 17, 18, 19, 20. All my young adult phase I have spent in my room or hospital instead of studying, passing out high school, getting into university. 4 crucial years of my life. 4. Her lips were trembling badly, whereas tears were flowing from her eyes. I am still not free from that memories. I still get nightmares. And what was my fault in all this? What? That I was a farmer's daughter, that my father wasn't very literate, that I didn't live in 3-stall house, that I was a new transfer student who got into school via scholarship, that my legs were hairy, that I have excessive facial hair and I choose not to remove them. He didn't even know what to say anymore. All those things were so basic, yet none of these were a crime that someone needs to get severely because of these. That I have a mustache like boys, that her knees gave up and she fell on the ground. Why? He moved forward to hold her, but her next words made him froze. Kim, don't you dare. You belong to the same family as hers. You have the same flesh as hers. You belong to the family who bought every lawyer and judge when my parents filed case against your sister and her whole group. Instead of punishing them, you all backed them up. You all falsely proved I was the problem. You all proved how I was the one who was lying, how my parents were after all your money. His eyes filled with warm tears. Her every word was true, every single one. He remembered how his sister came crying one day from school, how she was afraid to get punishment because of what she and her friends did with her poor classmate. He remembered how furious his father was after hearing his sister's actions towards her poor classmate, how angry her mother was at his sister, how disgusted he himself was towards her. How his father brutally told his sister Janet that he will not back her up. He needed to get punishment. How he and his mother too stopped talking to Janet, but then, seeing Janet's helpless condition, seeing how truly Janet was scared, how viciously she was crying her heart out. After all, Janet was the youngest member of their family, everyone's favorite, apple of their eye. They all doted over her. They all couldn't bear a small scratch on Janet's body. So at the end, his father took a promise from Janet that if she did anything like that again in her school or university, his father won't help her again. She had to face the consequences all alone. Janet promised that, and his father did every single thing to clear his beloved daughter's name. That time he didn't care if he was doing wrong with another man's beloved daughter. He just cared about his princess. He was angry with his sister due to her actions. He still didn't stand against his father, against the method by which he was protecting his beloved daughter. Some other girl that time didn't matter to him more than his sister. He then, just to show his anger towards his sister for her wrongdoing, he started giving cold shoulder to her. After his sister begged him for forgiveness, also promised to him that she would not behave like her past self anymore, he forgave her. He saw the good change in her behavior. He was relieved. After that, days went by, then months, then years went by. Janet never repeated her behavior. Everyone in his family forget about that incident. He wasn't an exception either. He too forgot about that incident and lived his life without any worries or guilt, oblivious to the fact that his life would become upside down due to him saying ignorant that time, due to him prioritizing his sister over an innocent girl. He looked at the same innocent girl he once didn't care for, but now he felt suffocated thinking why didn't he choose to not stay by his sister's side that time. At that moment he was in immense amount of guilt seeing that same innocent girl's state. After all, he too was responsible for her misery. Maybe he would never felt this if not that innocent girl became his girlfriend. He would have continued his life like it was before, without any guilt, without any knowledge of how much they had destroyed an innocent girl's mental health. I hate your family to infinity for ruining my life, for ruining my parents' daughter's dreams. Because of you people only, I have to work in small company like this. I can't handle too much pressure or too much high-class cloud, so I never got the chance to apply for a high-class companies. I cannot handle being with a lot of rich people. So leave from here. Her lips trembled and tears fall from not only her eyes but his eyes too. She was in pain that time. He was too in agony. He fisted his hand which he had forwarded to hold her and brought back it towards his side. He then turned on his heels and came out from the room without saying anything. He couldn't say anything. He felt if he stayed there any more second he would cause more damage than he already had. So he left. On the other hand, Violin continued to cry her heart out without caring about her surroundings because the haunting nightmares of hers which till now she saw in her dreams was replaying in her mind over and over again. Those scenes weren't leaving her mind. She grabbed her head with both of her hands and yelled while crying, Stop, please, leave from my mind. Stop torturing me. Please, stop. More than a week later. After that incident, Vian went home with much difficulty. She couldn't have any work done as she was found passed out in her cabin. Jimin discovered her there and admitted her in hospital. Wagon for her work unnecessarily, due to which she had to do overtime. So Jimin shrugged off his shoulders and decided to work until he saw Wayan leaving office. But when, even after being past 11 p.m., she didn't leave, Jimin checked on her and found her unconscious on her cabin floor. For past 1 week, Wayan didn't come office. She wasn't hospitalized, but the whole week she preferred to work from home after what happened between the young CEO and her. He was content knowing her family was there beside her to take care of her, who was ruined by his family and sister. But he again didn't do anything but to just move on with his life, just like he did years ago, when an innocent girl was getting destroyed by his best friend's sister cruelty. After all, he didn't know the innocent girl personally. So what was the point in getting into mess because of an unknown girl, right? Today, she felt that she was again ready to face everything again, so Wagan came office. Typing on a laptop, Wagan was working on a presentation when she heard a knock on the door. Come in, it's open. She could hear the cracked sound of the door as it was being opened. She looked up from her desk to saw the person entering her office room. Good morning, Wayan. Good to see you here today, he softly said to her. She, that moment, didn't expect him to say that to her. Nevertheless, she tried to maintain her professionalism. She got up from her chair and bowed at him. Morning, sir. She kept her gaze lower while bowing at him, which earned her a dark smirk from his side. Let not address me, sir, anymore. I am better at being a certain someone with whom you dreamed a beautiful life once, but due to some unfortunate circumstance, the dreams won't ever come true. She looked at him. The man in his late 20s weren't wearing a formal suit. Instead, he wore just casual clothes, which definitely was not appropriate for a CEO like him. I am resigning as a CEO of this company, Wayan. I am no longer your boss. Her lips slightly parted as his words seemed to be bizarre. I had joined this office solely to talk to you, to confront you about our sudden breakup. I was angry at you. That's why often I used to harshly criticize your work, even if there was no room of improvement. That's not called criticism, that's called baseless judgments. He nodded his head in acknowledgement. True, the sudden breakup didn't fit well in my life. I couldn't face you after seeing your sister at your house, after seeing you hugging her, laughing with her. I couldn't gather the courage to talk to you in person. Sure, that time I couldn't understand why you left me, but now, after knowing what you went through, your reason behind leaving me is crystal clear. You know, Wayan, I joined this company in aim of hearing an apology from you for leaving me suddenly. But see, the irony is I can never say sorry to you even if I try. Because I, my sister, my family, or our apologies can never bring back the youth you lost. We can never compensate for the trauma you went through, still going through. So, goodbye, Wayan, goodbye. Have a great life ahead. Wish you defeat the monsters under your bed. and win over your nightmares. May you achieve whatever you had wished to achieve. Goodbye. Head and turned around to leave the room. She too sat back on the chair, eyes again on her laptop, but suddenly he stopped. He again looked towards her and asked, Would you have still broken up with me if Janet wasn't my sister? If I didn't belong to the family who destroyed you late teen and new adult? His question caught her off guard, and she immediately looked at him. Would you still have left me, Vian? There was a brief moment of silence between them, but they refused to look away from each other. Considering, caring. So, on the basis of our time with each other, I am sure we would have made our dream of becoming a family true. We would have fulfilled our promises. I would have fulfilled the promises I had made to you, to us. I wouldn't have ended our relation if I didn't get nightmares, if you weren't connected to my past. His head, while his throat became heavy due to the budding emotions in his heart. If I weren't connected to the past. He looked away from her. She too didn't dare to look at him. Again, silence fell between them. I should leave now. Yeah. She nodded her head. He left from there, whereas she concentrated on her work. Sure that they couldn't fulfill the promises they made with each other, but they didn't break each other any further. Maybe that's how some stories end. Their story as a couple too ended, but their journey as an individual didn't. They still have a lot to overcome, lot to achieve. If Almighty wants, then definitely both will get their peace too. Thank you for watching this. Hopefully see you in my next video.